Hello and a very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Neha Bhardwaj-Alter and this is Game On. This is where you get all the latest from the world of sports, and we've got to start with the second test that's going on in Pune between India and New Zealand. Now, nobody could have predicted this, but yes, India's star-studded batting lineup crumbled against the Kiwi spin attack. They stare at their first ever home test series lost to New Zealand after the visitors claimed a formidable 301-run lead on the second day of the second test in Pune today. India were bowled out for a paltry 156 and 45.3 overs to put New Zealand in complete control of this test match, giving them a lead of 103 runs. Tom Latham then took New Zealand's charge with the bat, scoring a resolute 86, and he helped the Kiwis to lead by 301 runs at the stumps. Now, before that, Mitchell Santner was the destroyer-in-chief for New Zealand as he got 7 wickets for 53 to stun Indian batting. The only silver lining for India was Washington Sundar continuing a good show. He picked 11 wickets in the match, adding 4 more to his career best ever haul of 7 wickets on day 1. New Zealand now are looking at a historic maiden test series win in India, having first come here in 1955 and 56. None of the New Zealand batters faced any apparent trouble batting on the pitch. Shortly after, the famed Indian batting lineup cut a sorry figure for the second time in this series, making very basic mistakes. India haven't lost a test series at home since their defeat to England in the 2012-2013 season, and their unbeaten record in 18 series since then is under serious threat now. India's highest successful chase in tests at home was 387 against England at Chennai in 2008 in December. On Friday afternoon, India folded at the score of 156 in just 45.3 overs, like I said. Against New Zealand, they continued to perform way better than the hosts. Now, as India endured yet another one bad session of play, 6 wickets fell in the morning for a mere 91 runs, which made the pitch look unfavourable for batting when it was not the case. They started the day on a positive note with Shubman Gill. He scored 30. Yashasvi Jaiswal also scored 30. They added 49 for the second wicket before that collapse started. And one after the other, India just kept losing wickets. Some of the shots that they played were questionable. You wondered why India were playing. Indian batters played those shots when they should have just stayed on the pitch, had probably tried to go for a more defensive approach. But this is where we are at. Santner's orthodox spin, they tested Indians' defense and their resolve, and India failed to rotate strike, which added to their woes. Santner then sent 7 Indian batters packing, conceding only 53 runs in 19 overs and 3 deliveries for an impressive economy of 2.71, not allowing the home team batters to take control of the situation. The biggest shock for India in the day arrived in the 24th over when their batting superstar Virat Kohli, he missed a juicy full toss from Santner to be cleaned up for a 9-ball 1. So the Indian cricket team's fighting to save the second test against New Zealand after conceding a huge 103-run lead, which has now gone up to 300 plus by the end of day 2. Now, this after the home team could manage only 156 in the first innings. So India have already lost the first test, and they are now staring at a defeat in this test match as well. Bengaluru, they were bundled out with just 46 in the first innings. New Zealand commentator Ian Smith, he has though called this batting performance by the Indian batters in Pune worse than that performance in Bengaluru. During commentary, he said, and I quote, "Worse than 46 all out. This is some poor batting and shot selection. I can understand the first test, but instead of playing themselves in, batting for time, India for some reason are going after the bowling. They think they can just bash this New Zealand bowling lineup. This is only day 2 of the test match. There is ample time to go, but the way India are playing, none of them are going to be here that long." So there you go. It's not just Ian Smith. Indian team were also slammed for their shot selection on social media. There were fans who said that, maybe somebody else, someone like a Cheteshwar Pujara, needs to come back now and just keep this batting together after seeing 2 batting collapses in 2 test matches. Okay, we move on to hockey now. India lost the 2-match hockey series to Germany yesterday, but they won many hearts for an inspired performance in the second test at the Major Dhyan Chand National Stadium in New Delhi. Such was India's retaliation for a 5-3 win after losing the first match on Wednesday, when the hosts wasted as many as 8 penalty corners, that even the German captain Moritz Futzke, he rated Harmanpreet Singh and his team among the top 5 in the world. Despite the big win, India also suffered a heartbreak as Germany won the series via a penalty shootout when both teams ended up tied on 5 goals each from 2 matches. Germany won the first match 2-0 as India failed to finish despite dominating in field play. Yesterday, India led 5-1 until minutes before the hooter, but Germany struck twice in a span of 3 minutes, sounding the board in the 57th and the 60th minute to enforce the tiebreaker to decide the series. And then Germany prevailed 1-3 in 3-1 in the shootout as Harmanpreet, Abhishek and Mohammad Rashid missed the target. Amit Rohidas, he has scored his 200th international goal for India yesterday, so that's a huge achievement for him and for his team. So India made a brilliant comeback to win the second match 5-3. And their season forward, Mandeep Singh, he felt that the Indian team applied their learnings from the first test, where India had failed to finish despite creating more chances than Germany. Mandeep also said that working on pace and basics helped India turn the tide.
बहुत अच्छा लग रहा है और कल से जो चीज़ें हमने सीखी हैं और वो आज उस पर अप्लाई किया है और आज फील्ड गोल भी निकले हैं और पीसीबी के भी गोल निकले हैं। जो पेस था हमारा, जो सिंपल हॉकी थी, उसके ऊपर काम किया था। जब भी टीम में बाल आई थी, आउटकम का सोच रहे थे। डेढ़ से बहुत बड़ी बात होती है जब आप 200 मैच खेलते हो इंटरनेशनल इंडिया टीम के लिए, तो बहुत उनको बधाई है।
So even as India bounced back to win the second test in that hockey series, German coach Andre Henning, he preferred to count the positives from the match yesterday. He agreed that in the first 2 quarters, the side lost the energy and India were fantastic. But Germany bounced back to reduce that margin of defeat to 3-5, and eventually they won the series in that penalty shootout. Listen in to the German coach.
Very different halves, I guess. So in the first half, it felt like we played a game like yesterday. We had the game a little bit more in our hand, but it felt already that energy is going down, and therefore we had a lot of easy ball losses, especially from experienced players who could have played a little bit better, and that brought India back to the game again and again. And of course, they had so much possession, and we had to run even more. And that's why we lost the energy, I think, in the second half. And India, on the other side, was amazing. They played fantastic hockey, so much speed and really consequent in the circle, high efficiency. That's what we had yesterday. But we had some great opportunities as well. So we had a free tip in for Ben Hasper in the first half, I think, on the post in the second half. 0 out of 3 penalty corners. It's a really bad result for us. So I think if we would have scored, maybe the energy would have been higher, because it was really like every chance we did not use was the shoulders were a little bit lower, and but I'm really happy that we came back at the end and made the result a little bit better.
A test series like this is also giving the Indian coach Craig Fulton the opportunity to find the core for the 2026 World Cup team, as well as for 2028 Los Angeles Olympics. He was happy for the way this Indian side bounced back, and he also congratulated Amit Rohitas for reaching that landmark 200 international goals. Listen in.
I think also the third quarter was where it turned for us. That was good first half, we just weren't sharp, and we were playing well, and it was just to be patient at half time, and then we put it together in the third quarter, which was nice. Make sure that we still kept our structure and kept the tempo up, because they're playing a good zone, and we just had to keep moving the ball on and moving it on.
Former captain of Indian women's hockey team, Rani Rampal, she announced her retirement on Thursday, ending a glittering 16-year career. The 29-year-old will sign off as one of India's most decorated hockey players after leading the women's team to their best ever finish at the Olympics, which was a 4th place at the Tokyo Games in 2021. Rani announced her retirement on the sidelines of that India-Germany 2-match hockey series after the hosts bounced back to win the second test but lost in that penalty shootout at Dhyanchand's Stadium in New Delhi. Hockey India then honoured Rani with a cheque of 10 lakh rupees. She was a clinical forward. She made her international debut in 2008 as a 14-year-old in the Olympic qualifiers that year. She scored 205 goals in her 254 outings for India. She was honoured with the Major Dhyanchand Khel Ratna Award in 2020. She was also a recipient of the Padma Shri, the country's 4th highest civilian award in the same year. She was recently roped in as the national coach for sub-junior women players.
जजेस से टाइम जो अपॉर्चुनिटी आई सामने एंड मुझे लगा कि वो सोचने समझने के बाद कि शायद यही सही समय है, क्योंकि हर खिलाड़ी की ज़िंदगी में ये दिन तो ज़रूर आता है और बड़ा मुश्किल दिन रहता है किसी भी खिलाड़ी के लिए, क्योंकि उस गेम से आप बहुत प्यार करते हैं, उस स्पोर्ट से ना, क्योंकि उस स्पोर्ट ने आपको बहुत कुछ दिया होता है, एक अटैचमेंट होती है। मेरे लिए भी मुश्किल था, बट मुझे लगता है कि मुझे कोई रिग्रेट्स नहीं है करियर में ना, एंड आई एम हैप्पी। जितने साल खेले बड़े गर्व के साथ खेले देश के लिए ना, क्योंकि ये मौका हर किसी को नहीं मिलता और हमें मिला तो हमें था कि हमें बखूबी जो है उसको अपना फ़र्ज़ निभाना है कि हम 100% खेलें जब भी खेलें। एंड अभी टाइम है कि हम और ज़्यादा जो लड़कियां हमारी कंट्री में हैं हम उनको हेल्प करें एज अ मेंटर।
Well, we wish her all the very best for future endeavours. Let's shift focus to football now, and Fenerbahce coach Jose Mourinho was sent off as his side drew 1-1 with his former club Manchester United in the Europa League yesterday after Christian Eriksen's earlier goal was cancelled out by Yusuf N-Nesyri. Joshua Zirkzee, he found Eriksen with a short pass, and the Danish midfielder put United ahead in the 15th minute with a powerful first-time shot from the edge of the area. The hosts found the equaliser early in the second half as N-Nesyri found the net in the 49th minute of what was turning out to be an eventful match. United keeper Andre Onana pulled off a stunning acrobatic double save just before half-time to deny Fenerbahce and keep the dominant hosts from equalising. However, Onana couldn't stop N-Nesyri 4 minutes after the break as he headed in Alan Saint-Maximin's perfect cross to level matters. Mourinho was shown a red card just before the hour mark after a heated dispute with the referee that seemingly included some very colourful language. The closing minutes were largely uneventful, although United substitute Anthony had to be taken off on a stretcher, adding to their mounting injury concerns. United have 3 points after drawing their opening 3 games in the competition, while unbeaten Fenerbahce has 5 points.
I know you, English media. I know that probably you are going to say Manchester United didn't play well, Manchester United didn't had shots. Why? Why they didn't had shots? Why they were not dominant? Why? Because the opponent was good. The opponent was very good. If before the game somebody tells me a draw against Manchester United, I say good result. And now you tell me, are you happy with the result? And I say I'm not happy. So we did well, and the point for them I think is a positive point.
Inter Miami's Lionel Messi has played in only one Major League Soccer loss this year in May at home against Atlanta United, and later tonight he will make his MLS playoff debut at home against Atlanta United. Yes, Inter Miami, who set the MLS records for the most points and best winning percentage in the regular season, get a big challenge right out of the gate in the playoffs by facing an Atlanta team in a best-of-3 Eastern Conference first-round series. Messi is coming off a hat-trick in the regular season finale, which was a 6-2 romp past New England. And even though he missed nearly half the MLS season because of injury and commitments to Argentina's national team, Messi is still a serious contender for league's MVP after 20 goals and 16 assists in 19 appearances. The match tonight will be the first home playoff match in the club's history. If Inter Miami wins this series, they would stay home for the rest of the season, with home field edge for the single game conference semi-finals, conference finals as well as MLS Cup, but only if they keep winning. Messi's arrival midway through 2023 was a big step towards Inter Miami getting to the global stage. The team won the Leagues Cup last year shortly after Messi arrived, won the Supporters' Shield this year as the best MLS regular season team, and now go after the MLS playoff title. Atlanta got to this series by beating Montreal in a wild-card match on Tuesday. Roberto Mancini has left his role as the coach of Saudi Arabia after his contract was ended by mutual agreement. This is what the national team has announced now. The 59-year-old Italian took the helm of the Saudi international team in August 2023, replacing Hervé Renard. Under Mancini, the Saudis were knocked out of the Asian Cup in the last 16 earlier this year after losing in a penalty shootout to South Korea. The Saudis are third in Group C of Asia's third round of World Cup preliminaries with 5 points. They are 5 points adrift of group leaders Japan after 4 matches. They lost 2-0 at home to Japan on 10th of October before being held to a scoreless draw by Bahrain 7 days later. Now, PWR Duper India Masters Pickleball. That got underway in New Delhi yesterday. Yes, it's a rising sport in the country. You love tennis, but you want to go easy on your joints, then pickleball is the sport for you. Here are some key moments from the day one's play, with athletes across all age groups playing across 20-plus courts in New Delhi's DLTS Stadium. The day was packed with adrenaline, camaraderie, and community spirit.
Brilliant with talk of confidence, talk of an entrance in time on center. Hello. But again, the energy is almost back to here. Absolutely decimated his opponent. And Willie, don't want any confusion once the bat over to the over. So out of it, another let out, chanting. He's getting quick up. And it ends. Done and dusted the win. You can see. Now, the shirt kept on that shot. A wonderful. This is what we
All right, time for us to wrap this up. But before we go, from jaw-dropping strikes to incredible saves, Bundesliga match day 7 action was packed with a lot of thrills. We bring you the best moments from this action-packed weekend. Relive all the excitement from Bundesliga match day 7. Enjoy.
Frankfurt travelled to the champions with an outside chance of ending the weekend in first place. But a sloppy start saw Leverkusen awarded an early penalty, though Victor Boniface's weak effort was never going to trouble Kevin Trapp on his return from injury. In the opposite box, Robert Andrich brought down Omar Marmouche, and Frankfurt's number 7 was far more effective from the spot. The Bundesliga's top goalscorer hammering in his 9th of the season, merciless from Marmouche. Leverkusen's equaliser was the culmination of a fine footballing move, Andrich supplying the finish to atone for his costly earlier foul. After the break, it was only the frame of the Frankfurt goal that came between Andrich and a Leverkusen lead. The scales were soon tipped with help from substitute Florian Wirtz, who provided an energetic assist for Victor Boniface to grab the winner. Redemption too for the Nigerian, as Leverkusen exercised their penalty demons and come between Frankfurt and the Bundesliga summit. After 3 games without a win in all competitions, Bayern hosted Stuttgart at the Allianz Arena. Neither Serge Gnabry nor Harry Kane was able to find an early opener despite a glut of chances. Stuttgart's goal led something of a charmed life for the first hour. Their 3-game winless run had coincided with a 3-game goal drought for Harry Kane, but a second-half hat-trick against Stuttgart saw the record champions return to winning ways. If the first was an individualist strike from distance, the second, from inside the box, was payoff for his dogged persistence. There followed another pure poacher's finish that put the result beyond doubt and any doubts over his goal-scoring abilities to bed. His 8th hat-trick in a Bayern shirt. A 4th from Kingsley Coman was the final highlight of this dominant Bayern display that sees them defend their perch at the top of the table. The matchday concluded with a high-scoring thriller at Wolfsburg, where the home team opened early against Bremen through Thiago Tomáš. Werder struggled to create anything of note until first-half added time when Marvin Duksch found Mitchell Weiser for a brilliant equaliser. Bremen started the second half as they ended the first, firmly on the front foot, and soon found themselves ahead through Felix Agu. Wolfsburg then capitulated by conceding another goal, put away by Duksch, and going down to 10 men, when Patrick Wimmer saw red for a clattering challenge from behind, just minutes after entering the fray as a sub. Marco Grull deepened the hosts' misery with Werder's 4th. And although the Wolves' Joachim Mähler netted a late consolation, the travelling fans were left to celebrate a convincing third-away victory on the bounce.
India launched its 4th nuclear-powered ballistic missile submarine, or SSBN, this week. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh launched the S4 Star at the Shipbuilding Centre in Visakhapatnam. The move aims to strengthen the nation's nuclear deterrence ability. Now, will the S4 Star enhance India's deterrence capabilities? News 9 Plus decodes. The S4 and its successor, the S4 Star, are a new subclass of Arihant class. It is around 10 meters longer than the Arihant class. It displaces over 7,000 tons, which is 1,000 tons more than the Arihant class. It can carry 8 K4 missiles or 24 shorter-range K15 missiles. Why is the submarine called the S4 Star? India's nuclear subs have project numbers. S stands for submarine. The S1 is the shore-based prototype nuclear reactor at Kalapakkam. The Arihant was earlier called S2. S3 is the Arighat, and S4 could be called the Aridhaman. The original plan in the 1990s was for 3 6,000-ton Arihant class SSBNs, after which India would start building bigger S5 series SSBNs, each displacing over 12,000 tons. To reduce the wait time between 2 projects, the government sanctioned a 4th Arihant class submarine. It was squeezed between the 2 projects and called the S4 Star. Now, what is the status of the previously launched submarines? With the launch of the S4 Star, all 4 Arihant class SSBNs are in the water. The Arihant and Arighat are in service. The S4 is on sea trials and will be commissioned in 2025, whilst the S4 Star will be commissioned in 2027. Now, what is the significance of the Arihant class SSBNs for India's nuclear deterrence? Well, the Arihant class SSBNs are crucial for credible deterrence, especially in Asia, where China and Pakistan have 2 of the world's fastest growing nuclear arsenals. These submarines are powered by a nuclear reactor that will allow it to remain submerged for extended periods, making it difficult to detect and track. They are thus the most secure and survivable leg of the nuclear triad, comprising of air, land and sea-launched nuclear weapons. Each missile of the Arihant class is tipped with 1 nuclear bomb. So when all 4 Arihant class submarines sail out, it means between 24 and 72 of India's nuclear weapons are hidden under the seas. The number of warheads could increase if the missiles are MIRV'd or fitted with 3 instead of a single nuclear weapon. Their ability to remain submerged for months, combined with the enhanced missile range and payload, makes them the backbone of India's second strike capability, ensuring that the country can retaliate in the event of a surprise nuclear attack or a first strike. The enemy will therefore have to think twice before making a move when the Arihant-class SSBNs are on patrol.
Joe Biden is not going to be the Democratic presidential nominee.
I made my choice. Kamala Harris. She's experienced. She's tough. She's capable.
I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
I am the one saving democracy.
He has tapped into the fear and anxiety about demographic change in the US.
This polarization in the United States. Some people are even suggesting that there could be a civil war.
You are this unable to solve your own domestic problems. You have no right to claim to be anybody else in the world. And we're moving into a multipolar world where the United States will not lead.
This and more. Streaming on News 9.